Okay, so today I'm going to discuss how to use past papers as part of your studying. So let's start. So first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to log into your VC Learn. And when you're in your VC Learn, you're going to click on this My Library. And this is going to take you to the Varsity College Library, which you know, and you've been using throughout the semester. But this is where you pick up your past papers from. Now, past papers are absolutely crucial in your studying technique. So, the first thing you're going to do is you click on past papers, and then you will see here on the left-hand side is all the subjects, and they're listed in alphabetical order. Now, for this video, I'm going to use the business paper, so I'm going to click on B, and then all my years appear, so 2013 to 2016. So I'm going to use the 2013 one, and you now scroll down and find your code. So I'm going to use the BMG 511 or 5111, and you have your exam or your test. So I've uploaded my exam, the 5111 paper, which is over here, and this shows you exactly what your paper is going to look like in the exam sitting. Now please remember, the questions will be different, but the structure will be the same. So if I look here, it gives me my instructions. So before I get into that, I just want to say, why do we use past papers and how to use them? So the general guidelines is you download all your past papers, as many as possible, and you answer the past paper in exam conditions. So you set up a timer, you only have 2 hours to complete the exam, and you follow the instructions. Another thing is you set a timer for each question, which I'll go through now how long you should spend on each question. But it's very good to set a timer so that as soon as that timer is finished, you move on to the next question. This helps you with learning how to answer the questions within that short amount of time. As soon as you have finished your paper, your past paper, you mark it with the use of your guide and your textbook. And you go through each question and you mark each question. Are you giving the facts? Are you giving enough information? And then a very important thing, you identify where you went wrong. So what happened? Why can't you get the full marks? And you fix it. Another thing is to write model answers for certain questions that you are struggling with. These model answers are great for definition questions or any question where a certain amount of information needs to be in. And then do as many past papers as possible. Remember that doing a past paper is the same as studying, so you want to do as many and pull it into your study timetable as much as possible. Okay, so let's start on it. First of all, you can see with this paper it is a 2-hour with a 10-minute reading time. Now your 10 minutes are your most important time possible. What you need to do in those first 10 minutes is you need to rate your questions. So you identify the questions that you can answer straight away. You identify the questions that you feel you may struggle with. Then you start, when you start your exams, you start with the questions that you are the most confident with. However, mark these questions properly. You can answer the questions in any order that you want, but make sure that you are marking them properly or identifying them properly so your tutor knows which one you are answering. For example, if you're going to start with question 2 of section B, you put section B, question 2, and then you do your answers that way. Because the tutor, if you just put question 1 and you're actually answering question 1 of section B, your tutor is going to mark it as if you are answering section A, question 1, which then you will obviously get the wrong answer. If you get stuck on any question, rather move on and come back to that question at a later stage. Don't sit and try do the same question and waste very valuable time doing it. Then, you will see at the end of your paper, there are the terms end of paper. This is very important. If you do not see this, your exam has not finished. Turn over the page and check there aren't any more questions. When we are nervous, when we are rushing through the exams, sometimes we think we're finished and there's 3 or 4 more questions that need to be answered, and we actually don't answer them and lose points. Then answer all the questions. Try to attempt every single question. The question, if you are struggling with answering a question, like I say, move on and then come back to the question. But you must attempt every single question. It's really important. So now moving on to the actual exam paper. So you'll see here, section A, the mark is out for the whole of section A. It's a total of 30 marks. So you can then say, I have 30 minutes for this section. And then you'll see question 1 is broken down into 5 marks each. So you have 5 minutes for those questions. Now, this one is match column A to column B. These are nice, easy questions that you can collect a lot of marks with. And it's important that you can also use the flashcard system to study this kind of information, the definition of a group, the definition of a task, and so on and so on. But make sure you read the question properly. So it is important that you don't just look for a definition and quickly fill it out, that you're actually reading this information correctly before you choose which is your correct answer. So section B is also columns. Now I go to question 3. Now question 3 is a mark out of 20. So again, you need 20 minutes to complete these sections, and you should be spending 2 minutes on question 3.1, 2 minutes on question 3.2. When you are going through the paper, it is important, especially when you've got these multiple choice questions, so which of the following statements is true, you go through these questions and eliminate the incorrect answers. That's what you should be doing automatically. And then that will normally give you the answer, or at least narrow it down. Another thing is make sure you read the question and the instruction properly. You'll see question 3.1 is looking for the correct answer. Question 3.2 is looking for what is not a level of engagement. So what I do, or what I recommend my students do, is have a highlighter with you. And when you see these types of questions, you highlight them so you pay attention to them. Then as we go through, question or the next page is the same type of questions. Now we get to section B. So the whole of section B should take you 60 minutes to complete. And question 1 is 30 marks, so 30 minutes to complete. And here is where you must pay attention to the mark allocation. So question 1.1 is looking for 6 points. And question 1.4 and 1.5 are looking for 8 points. So make sure you note the differences between the marks. You can highlight them if that makes it easier. Then on this page, what I want to bring to your attention, which is very important, is the exam terms or the question terms, whichever one you want to use. So here says list and describe. Here says discuss. What are they actually asking for? Now you will see this email that will come through to you, and you will see I have pulled apart what each of these questions mean. So when somebody says to discuss, you need to give examples and you need to give both sides of the argument. So you need to prove to the tutor that you understand both of these examples and you can analyze and evaluate what is coming out. When they ask you to outline something, you are only giving the main premises of the topic. A good way of thinking of this is think of a mind map. You're not going to go into extreme depth into the mind map. You're only going to give the key points, and that is what they are looking for. So make sure that you know exactly what they are asking for. Listing is literally giving each point. Describing, if we go look at the exam terms, which is up here, you need to give characteristics of the problem area. A good way that I give an example of this, especially between describe and explain. Describe is, think about describing a door. It is wood. It is white or blue or pink. When you're explaining something, you must state the how and the why something is happening. So if you think about the door, the focus would be on why is there a door? Not necessarily a door. A door is to keep people out or keep people in. It's to maybe protect a place. It's along those lines. Where describing is you're just explaining what a door looks like. So it's important to take note of all of these questions and make sure that you are answering the question terms, not necessarily just giving as much information as possible. Because the whole point of an exam is not so you can just give us the information that is in your study guide, is that you can prove to your tutor and the marker that you understand the question, you understand the work, and you can move forward with the work. So question 2.2 here, the case study of Impul. Question 2.2.2 is for 6 marks, and it says advise him on whether the product departmentalization is appropriate for his business, mentioning the advantages and the disadvantages. There's actually 2 questions in this question. The first one is the product departmentalization appropriate? And then number 2, what are the advantages and disadvantages? So you need to make sure you're mentioning both of that information. Then if we look at a question like 2.6, it says list the 4 steps. It's only for 4 marks. So be careful on these types of questions that you don't waste time by giving way too much information. What you've got to do here is just list the answers. That is all they are looking for. So make sure you don't go too in depth in this situation. Going on to section C in question 1, now we are dealing with a case study. So when you are reading the case study, make sure you make notes in the margins of what this information is going to be and what you could maybe include, examples and things like that. And questions that I want to bring to your attention is like question 1.2 here. Explain the concept of franchising. This is only for 2 marks. So even though you're going to explain it, you're not going to give a full essay. You're literally only going to spend 2 minutes on explaining what is franchising. So a really good definition would do well here. Just a bit of information to show your tutor that you understand the information. Then when we go to this one, use specific details from the case study. That means your tutor wants to see that you have read that case study, you have identified specific things that you can give as an example. So you're not going to give general information, you're going to give very, very specific information from that case study. Your tutor needs that to be able to give you the marks. Okay, and again, this is in the next question on 2.1. Identify and provide examples. I'm looking at this question here. So the examples, you must give examples from the case study, but not just one-word examples. You must give it like a model answer would be, you can see this kind of power due to this, which can be seen in the case study. So he did this, or he communicated in this way. So you need to give a full example, not just one word. Then when we're looking at question 2.2, it says evaluate if whether the mission statement proposed answers these questions. So again, you can't say yes it does because it's for 4 marks. You need to say yes it does because, or no it doesn't because, whichever is your answer for that question. And then lastly, this is what I was talking about with the end of paper. Now I know my assignment, my exam is complete and I can move on and I can finish the paper. Remember to always leave about 5 minutes at the end of your exam to reread over your questions, not necessarily to change your answer, but more to look at, are you being clear? Are your answers clear? Would your tutor understand what you're trying to say? And can they give you the marks that they are trying to give you? Are your examples full and complete? Have you used the case study effectively? Although that's what you're going to be reading over your paper for. Okay, so that is my lesson on how to use past papers. Please use past papers in your studying time. And as usual, if you need any assistance, just give me an email. And if you would like me to do any specific videos, I will do more videos, but any specific videos, just let me know. Okay, good luck with your studying.